Yo, what's up YouTube? So today what I want to do is I want to talk about why you should front load your hardest tasks to the earliest part of the day. Why you want to do the hardest things when you have the most willpower, the most energy, and that is for most people in the morning. So the first thing I want to talk about is I had to learn that the hard way today, and I'll get into that story in a bit, but when it comes to waking up early, I used to be a late riser, 9 a.m., 10 a.m. And what happens then is that you wake up and the world is already in motion. There are already fires that you need to put out. You have emails you need to respond to, you have text messages, and you have just all these distractions waiting for you there. So you can never really tap into sacred hours. These are hours where you just have peace, quiet, calmness, and where you can just sit down and focus, right? And I feel like that's a big thing that the world lacks, especially in the age of social media and consuming all of this content, especially with reels and short form content, right? It has zapped our attention. And so waking up early when the rest of the world's asleep and getting straight to work, it's almost like a superpower. And so I have really shifted my routine from being a late riser to now being an early riser. And so I woke up today, 5 a.m., and I got straight to work because that's what I usually do. And I thought I was doing the hardest task first thing in the morning, but I learned later on I'm not. See, as you can see, I'm here in El Salvador, and I have a media agency. It's called Sovereignty Studios, or I'm part of a media agency. My producer actually lives a few doors down. And right now, we are in a phase where we don't have any projects. We have some coming up on the horizon, and we'll start planning those out in a couple weeks. But as of right now, we don't have anything really to work on. So his suggestion was to make a video that is on my personal brand, that builds my personal brand. And what he was suggesting is, hey, we have this equipment, we have a teleprompter, we have a whole studio. Why don't we do one of these scripted videos where you read off the teleprompter and I'll edit it and I'll produce it and we'll see what kind of response we get. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. If you're looking on screen, I'll show you a little bit of what our studio looks like right now and what the setup looks like, just so you guys have an idea. But I thought that was a fantastic idea. And in order to do this, I needed to write a script. And writing is a creative function that requires a lot of mental energy. And so my idea was to get up first thing in the morning and start writing out the script so I could have the most creative juices flowing. Now I'll get into why you want to take the hardest task, the task that require the most mental energy, the highest cognitive load, why you want to do that first thing in the morning, because there's actual science that backs this up, right? If you watch Andrew Huberman or Huberman, however you say his name, you'll know this. And so number one, you have your circadian rhythm. And this is the natural hormonal cycle that your body goes through, and it is regulated by sunlight. And this is why he's so big on getting sunlight first thing in the morning, something that I've been able to do living here in El Salvador. There's no shortage of sunlight, and as you can see in the back, it's a little bit cloudy today, but what it does first thing in the morning is it releases this hormone called cortisol. And cortisol is like this signal to the body that stimulates alertness and says, hey, we're ready to go. On top of that, there's a neurochemistry, right? Your body replenishes its dopamine over your sleep cycle. And so you wake up with high dopamine and norepinephrine. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's another neurochemical that also acts similar to dopamine and stimulates the body, makes it alert. And these are all things that motivate you. These are things that make you curious. This is chemicals that really help you, especially when you're trying to be creative. And on top of that, there's just the brain, and it uses a ton of glucose. I think like 20% of the body's energy is consumed by the brain. And so you're high on glucose. Your body has replenished it over the night. So these are scientific reasons why you have the most willpower and the most energy first thing in the morning, why you want to get the hardest task done, especially when they require a lot of mental energy first thing in the morning. And so I did that. I thought I was doing that. I was writing, and I got that done. But then there are little things throughout the day. Like I said, the world is running, it is in motion, and so you have to attend to different things that come up. And I pushed back the filming of this video till 2 p.m. And what I realized is that when I got to actually filming and reading off this teleprompter, it's a skill. It's a skill that requires training and effort and energy. And so I wasn't prepared for that. And within 30 minutes of reading the teleprompter, man, I just felt drained. And it's like one of those things where, you know, when you're in traffic, and even if you're going a short distance, you know, maybe it's just 30 minutes in traffic, but whenever you get to your destination, you're physically exhausted. And that's because you used so much mental energy trying to stay alert, trying not to get killed, trying not to get in an accident, and so forth. And so the same principle applies. And so the way it works, or my mental model for viewing energy throughout the day, is that, you know, it depletes. First of all, we consume calories. Then also our body just naturally goes through its cycles where you don't have the chemicals and hormones that really make you alert. And it's also part of our, I would say, our biological evolution, right? When we were hunters and gatherers, right? We woke up, and when I say we, I'm saying humans, and we had to hunt for food. And so your body is on maximum alertness, especially with fasting. I'm fasting right now because of Lent. And so one of the benefits I realized was that, you know, waking up and getting to work in a fasted state, your body is on high alert. But today, one of the things that also was working against me was the fact that I had to extend my fast just because I was so busy, I couldn't eat. And so I also recorded and filmed in a fasted state, but by 2 p.m., my glucose levels were just so shot that, man, it was hard for me to even keep up. Now, as I'm recording this, I have more energy. I ate a little bit, got a little sugar in my body. And so these are little things that you can do throughout the day to sustain yourself, right? Of course, eating. But in terms of like being productive, in terms of getting the hardest things done and having the energy to actually do it efficiently and find success, right? You want to do that first thing in the morning. So what we did is we have postponed the shoot till tomorrow, 9 a.m. And I'm positive it's going to be successful, because the difference between energy levels that I will have then after sleeping a good night's sleep and then waking up and getting to that, it's not going to be first thing in the morning, but it's still going to be early enough where I will have plenty of energy levels. It's going to be way different, right? That scenario tomorrow is going to be way different from the scenario today. So it's just a reminder to me that if you want to succeed, if you want to make progress, if you want to make big strides in your goals, especially when it requires a heavy cognitive load, a lot of mental energy, get it done first thing in the morning. And that is my message for you today. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.